This is TWiT.
It's time for Scott Wilkinson, home theater guru. He is our home theater geek, contributor at techhive.com, and the man of the hour since we're all staying home and watching a lot more TV these days.
Yes. Actually, though, today I want to talk about something audio.
Okay. People forget how important audio is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Listening to music is certainly therapeutic emotionally. And sure, you can watch TV, but listening to music is really important too. And I just posted a review of something I thought was fantastic.
Tell me.
Well, normally, most of us listen to music on our phones now, right?
Yeah.
And you listen on wireless headphones, or maybe you plug it into the phone, and the quality's okay. But the what's called the digital to analog converter, or DAC, inside the phone is, it's okay, but it's not great. I mean, the phone has to do so many things. They have to pack so much in there that they can't really put, usually, super great DACs and amps in.
Some phones have good DACs, digital analog
converters. Some of them
converters.
do.
The iPhone does not.
Right.
But I'm trying to remember, I think LG put some good DACs in their phones. If you read the audiophile sites, they'll mention, oh, this one has a surprisingly good DAC. It's a shame, though, because most people use iPhones, and those are not notoriously
not that
great.
good. Well, I've got a solution for those people.
You do?
I do. It's a device from a British company called iFi, I-F-I, called the Hip-Dac.
The Hip-Dac?
The Hip-Dac.
Is that because you keep it on your hip?
I believe it's because it kind of looks like a little hip flask.
It does. It looks just like a hip flask. Oh, that's hysterical. So now, this is a amplifier and digital to audio converter. So you plug it in to the headphone jack, which most phones don't have anymore.
Actually, no, you don't. You plug it into in the case of the iPhone,
lightning
into
port.
the lightning port.
Okay.
Or in the case of an Android phone, the USB-C, I guess.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to plug it into the headphone jack even if it had it, because that's
digital.
Analog out. You want digital.
Correct.
You want the bits. I see.
Correct. And let this thing do the conversion. And then
instead
of
the phone's built-in converter, which isn't so good. Yeah.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Now, this thing is a little smaller than a phone.
Okay.
It's built like a tank.
Yeah, it looks nice.
This iFi company does a lot of high-end pro stuff, audio stuff, and they've trickled that down into this iFi Hip-Dac. It even has a balanced audio output as well as a standard 3.5 millimeter headphone output.
So that's nice. So you can plug in your old wired headphones into it, plug it into your phone via Lightning or USB-C port, and you've got a headphone converter, plus the audio quality is better, right?
And oh man, the audio quality of this thing is awesome.
Really?
I was listening to a bunch of different tunes, as I always do for reviews. I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. So I was listening to classical, I was listening to jazz, I was listening to pop, and some electronic. Brian Eno, remember Brian Eno?
I love Brian Eno.
Oh yeah. Well, he and his brother Roger have a new album out of electronic music. It's pretty low key, not quite ambient, but almost. But everything through this Hip-Dac was just wonderful. I kept writing in my notes, liquid. It just has this liquid smoothness to it that was gorgeous.
I should mention that he and his brother have put out an app too for iOS called Bloom.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's not. I don't know if it's his brother. Peter Chilvers is the
okay. No, yeah,
co-author.
Roger Eno's his brother.
Okay, and Bloom, which is that classic ambient Eno music, you generate your own, and it's beautiful, and that would sound great on this too.
It would sound great on this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this has its own battery. It doesn't drain your phone's battery.
Correct. And you wouldn't want it to, because it takes a lot of juice. It's got a 2,200 milliamp hour battery, which is a lot.
That's like the phone size. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And it'll last 8 to 12 hours, depending on how loud you play and how much power your headphones require.
You could also power it from a computer separately, so you could
Correct.
go
and
forever.
you wouldn't need the battery for that.
Yeah.
You could plug it straight into a USB out port on your computer, and it would power that directly.
So computers don't have great DACs in many cases either. So this could replace your
Correct.
computer's DAC too.
Correct.
Oh, I'm liking this more and more.
Exactly.
Now, here comes the bad news. How much?
Not bad at all. 149 bucks.
Yikes.
I mean, you know,
these are expensive because this is sophisticated circuitry. This is not.
It's very sophisticated circuitry. We're talking balanced audio circuitry throughout this thing, which it would be difficult to get into in a couple minutes exactly what that means. But it is a great improvement over, you know, your standard what's called single-ended or unbalanced circuitry.
Yeah.
Another couple of really cool features about this thing. It has a it has a feature called X bass, and usually when I see a feature called X bass, I think, oh man, that's going to just be boomy, bloated, ugly bass.
Boom, boom.
Exactly, but not in this case. This X bass is really intended for if you have open back headphones. You have over-ear headphones that have an open back. They don't typically have as good bass response. So you lose some bass out of the music that you're listening to. This thing puts it back. Now, I was listening on in-ear monitors, in-ear headphones, and the bass was too much, but I was really surprised at how smooth that bass was. It wasn't boomy, it wasn't bloated, it wasn't ugly. It was integrated beautifully into the mix, just too much for the type of headphones I was listening to. But if you need it, it's a wonderfully implemented circuit. I was totally surprised at that.
So we're trying to, here we are upgrading your audio experience. You're going to probably want to get better headphones than the ones that come with the iPhone too.
Well, that goes without saying almost. Yeah, definitely. But, you know, you can get, I was listening on the One More triple driver in-ear headphones, and those are $70-80. You know, it's not a tremendous investment. Sure, you can spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on headphones, but you don't have to. The triple driver, the One More triple driver in particular, I love the sound quality of those.
Okay.
And, you know, $70-80. Now, $150 for an outboard DAC, yes, that's not super cheap. On the other hand, it is for what you get in this
I've
case,
spent more than that easily for headphone amps.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this is an amp and a DAC. So you control the level. It's got a knob on it that you could turn it up and down.
It's got a knob to control the level. Yeah, exactly right.
Now, after all this, you're such a tease. I immediately, of course, you know me, I ran to Amazon to buy it. Using the link on your site. Currently unavailable. We don't know when or if this item will be back in stock.
I was told that iFi, they introduced it at Can Jam last year in New York, last fall. And it got such a great reception that they sold out. And now, of course, they've got some supply chain problems with the virus. But I'm told by the company that is soon to be resolved. So it will be coming soon.
I would love to get this.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
I should mention that you also, when you use wireless headphones like Apple's AirPods or AirPods Pro or the Samsung Buds or the Google Buds, those are getting a digital signal from Bluetooth, and they have a DAC built into those little tiny headphones.
Correct, but they're little tiny headphones.
And you might imagine how bad those DACs are.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention the fact that Bluetooth uses a pretty high compression.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose video or audio quality on that too. So these things use a wired headphone, but man, does it sound good.
Okay.
So look for it. Just be a little patient. It'll get back in the supply chain, and when it does, I think you're going to really like it.
Like many things made in China, it's not currently available, but that may turn around. Scott Wilkinson, he's our home theater geek. He's a tease. Contributor at techhive.com. That's where you can read Scott's review with lots more details. Thank you, Scott. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. More calls right after this.